Obviously that was going far too far, but you see that sometimes what we take as being essential and normal and have to have, you should question that. And this particular aspect of the Buddhist path is saying, no, you don't know. If these things come, fine. If they don't come, fine. In other words, you can have them, but you don't need them. It's a necessity part of materialism which causes a problem. And it's nice to have them if it comes, but it doesn't matter if you don't have them. And the point is that you can have that beautiful attitude towards the possessions of life. Of, take it or leave it. They're not essential to your happiness. And the reason why they're not essential to your happiness is you don't measure your ego by these things. As I've mentioned in many meditation talks, and I gave a short meditation retreat in Sri Lanka, it's a fundamental principle of meditation that when you actually focus on something, you actually focus in on a thing. And what's on the edges of your awareness fade off. And the simile I've often given is watching a TV screen, because when you watch a TV screen, it doesn't matter what size it is, or what shape it is. I know that most TV screens are rectangular, but if somebody came along and had to design a TV set which was, say, circular, and that'd be sort of a new thing to have a circular TV set, you find that after a while when you look at the centre of it, the edges disappear. You don't see the edges, and that's the reason why when you look at a movie on TV, it looks as if you're right there, because the edges of the screen would remind you that it's just an image on a box. But next time you watch the TV, just notice after a few minutes the edges disappear and you're in the centre of that screen somewhere. And it doesn't matter how big that screen is, because when you focus in the middle of that screen, it can be one of these huge plasma screen TVs, or just a tiny sort of mobile TV screen. In your mind it looks the same. And I've mentioned that to a few people, and I mentioned that on my last retreat which I gave here, and a couple of the retreatants were very, very happy that they said they were just about planning to buy a plasma screen TV for $2,000 or $3,000, and I saved them all that money. I think they gave 50% to my retreat centre, which was very good business. Because you actually don't need it. The only time it's impressive, the only time a plasma screen TV is impressive is when it's not turned on. And then you see the whole big thing. Otherwise it looks exactly the same. You try that out. The mental image, when you're actually watching a movie on a small screen or a big screen, in the mind it appears the same. Because you just focus into the centre and that's all that's left there. The size is immaterial, except when it's not turned on. And then it impresses the neighbours, fair enough. But why do we want to impress our neighbours so much? And this idea of like pride and spiritual pride as well. So sometimes you have to combat that, to say the whole point of the path, and this is a saying of my teacher Ajahn Brahm, is not to get things, not to attain things, but to let things go.